I'm gonna go ahead and remove the dashboard because it's cracked anyways. Probably get that fixed. Getting this dash out is gonna be a little tricky because it's basically screwed down in a couple places. There's a couple screws that go in this way and then a couple screws going in that way. This is an 87, so normally you don't need to remove the windshield to get the dashboard out because this panel here is what kind of clips this thing in. I removed that with the windshield still in place. These are for a Cabriolet tonneau cover. There's a tonneau cover that when the top is down, there's a cover that comes all the way up to the dashboard and kind of covers the interior. So the dashboard won't get wet or anything. I really don't use that feature at all. It's a fair weather car. So I'm probably gonna take these screws and eliminate them and just have a smooth dash again. That's an option that my red car didn't have, and I just don't use it on this car, so I think I'm gonna delete it. And step one is to disconnect the battery, because in order to get some of the nuts, I have to take the gauges out. So the two studs that are up above the gauge cluster, the only way to really get access to those is by removing the gauges. So because we're dealing with electrical, I'm gonna just use some pry tools to get the gauges out. It's really not that tricky to get the gauges out in this car. I got to do it with the camera in a better place, but these gauges are just held in place with friction and a gasket. So hopefully I can just take out maybe this gauge and the speedometer, and that should get me access to those nuts. That's 1 out of 7 done. There's 7 studs that hold the dash on. I just used this setup. That one wasn't too bad. Of course, this is the oil gauge. So I can just put that back temporarily. Next, we'll work on the speedometer. Okay, the one behind the speedometer actually had a spring washer on there. I'm not sure why. I use the exact same tool for that one. Next up, the studs actually go this way. There's one right here. There is another one right here. Another one right here. I think there might be one there and one there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7. So let's do, I guess we'll take this gauge out and try to get access to that one. That was a little bit harder to get that one out. One, because the gauge is smaller, but two, the factory uses a nyloc nut on that one, which is absolutely devious because you can't just spin it off once you break it free. You got to ratchet it off. So on this one, I used a 10 millimeter ratcheting wrench. You know, this guy here worked really well to just basically get it on the piece and just wiggle it, you know, from behind here. You can just wiggle it. I did try this one too. This one does work, and you can get it, you know, on the back of the stud, but it's really difficult to rotate it with enough torque to break off the nyloc. So I am not going to put this back on. I'm just going to put a traditional nut back on. And then to make it even worse, they torqued it pretty tight. You can see how that washer is crushed. There's no reason to tighten it that tight. So I think the guy at the factory was just laughing. Probably laughing at me because it just makes it hard to remove and reinstall. Things are starting to shake loose though, which is a good sign. So next up is to remove the clock, I think. We'll remove the clock and look for another stud right here on that side of the vent. Oh, finally they gave us a lot of wire here. I'm going to put a link for this camera because this thing is really helpful. So I can articulate the end and point right at it. So easy to spot it. That's another nyloc, which sucks. But I'm going to put a little penetrating oil on there and we'll get that one off next. These came off just, you know, behind the clock, just to the right of the clock. And this time, I forgot I had this, but this is the same wrench, but it's a stubby version. So I use this one on the oil tank side, but I like this one a little better. This washer was crushed not as bad, but still probably over tightened. I think these nylocs kind of force you to over tighten stuff because you have to overcome the friction of the nut. By the time you get it tight, you're crushing this washer, which is way too much for a foam dash pad. I believe these were installed by the factory. I don't know that for sure, but these have long threads on them. So I don't know if they secure it to the dashboard or not. So we're done now with the dashboard side. Now it's getting these remaining three off. And that's going to be a little harder because obviously there's no gauges over here. So I'm not sure if we should take the glove box out or if we just need to work from inside the trunk area. I'm not sure yet. Here, the last three, I was able to find them on the Boroscope camera. So I have a very long extension with a swivel on the end. I'm going to take those three off this way. Boom, I got all three nuts and washers retrieved from there. I think installation is going to be a little harder than removal, but I, use this long apparatus with the swivel on the end. This thing is probably, I don't know how long that is, probably 24 inches. And then I just put my magnet, this is a little scribe with a magnet on the end. It's a very strong magnet, but I just taped it onto basically a long stick. So I was able to get those apart. And now the dash is free. I wiggled the dash a little bit to release the washers. So I've been able to, they were sort of stuck on the back of the dash, but if you just wiggle it a little bit, you just do this, That lets the washers come free, and it feels like there's still something else holding it. So let me do another final count, make sure I didn't miss anything. Now that's it, there's 7. These are all nylocs, and then these 2 are just traditional nuts. These were on the vertical ones. One had a spring washer. These were all the horizontal studs that are, you know, behind the gauges. And then I think there's one more of these. I'm gonna throw those away anyways. Hey. I know, it looks bad. I am recording right now, so this will be like probably a time lapse. What? Yeah. It's hard to get this off. Yeah. It wants to come, but it's like there's screws going this way and this way, so they don't release. This is going to be a much better view of these studs. So there's one. These are the 2 above the instrument cluster, 1 on each side of the dash vents. And then there's these 3 in a row that were kind of hard to get. So this one here is kind of obstructed there in the corner. There's an antenna booster that is kind of in the way, but as long as you have a swivel, you can get to it. So yeah. We're going to get this one recovered. I'm open to suggestion, guys, on the recovering of the dash pad. So it's pretty well cracked in a couple places, but I think it's salvageable. I think a new dash is like $1,300 plus. I'm in Southern California, so typically I know Just Dashes is close by. I could actually go drive that over to Just Dashes. I think they're a little expensive. Let me know if you have any other suggestions as to who might do this. It's a Cabriolet. I don't need it to be leather, and it's gonna get a lot of sun because it's Cabriolet. So I just wanna do the original vinyl, no stitching, just, fix the cracks, cover it, and hopefully get some more years out of it. Let me know. It's pretty ingenious how Porsche has that little cutout in the hood so that these don't hit the paint even when the hood's up. It gets really close, but that's cool. I didn't really ever try that before. Anyways, this is what the dashboard looks like without the dash on it. And this is that wire that I cut, but there is a connector on it that plugs into that antenna booster. So it's accessible from underneath there. I just haven't disconnected it yet. A lot of this cracking, I never really noticed from the driver's seat, but it's cracked right there. I noticed this one and I noticed that one. And they're not huge, but it is annoying. This is matched to the color of the interior, which is like a navy blue. So I think most of the new dashboards I don't know this for sure, but I think they only come in black, which is why I wanted to get this one recovered in blue. And I believe this is vinyl. It's also interesting to see how the factory used these shims. So there's 2 here, there's 3 there. There's some rubber stuff on this side, but these shims here are important to put it back the way it was. And then I'm pretty sure I can get these vents out pretty easily. Looks like there's some things you can push down and then they just slide out. The other thing I'll say about getting the dash off, you know, it's kind of you kind of have to wrestle with it a little bit. If you use the camera to pay attention to where the stud is relative to the slot, you'll kind of tell you which direction to push or pull. So everything is mostly slotted. I found on this one that the dash needed to go forward in order for the stud to get out of that hole. So it was more of a forward motion and then tip up or tip this way. I don't really remember. Same thing with this slot right here. The dash needed to go this way, which it was sort of obstructed by this. So I had to wrestle with it to try to, you know, move it this way and also pull it out. The studs are obviously threaded, so that's why it catches on all those slots. So just pay attention to which way it needs to go. And that's why the camera, the Boroscope camera on the backside, I was able to see which direction it's running into and why it's stuck. Once I realized it's up against this side of the hole, I just put pressure in the right direction and it came apart.